a tale of hope and resilience. In a distant village nestled between rolling hills, there lived an elderly woman, her silver hair shining like moonlight and her face etched with the stories of time. Her name was Amara, and despite her years, her spirit remained unshaken. Her eyes, though soft with age, sparkled with warmth, and anyone who crossed her path could feel the comfort of her gaze. She had lived alone for many years since her beloved husband passed, and though life had given her little in material wealth, it had granted her an abundance of joy and peace. Amara's modest home sat by an ancient towering oak tree that seemed to cradle the village in its shade. Each day, without fail, she would sit beneath its vast branches, a serene smile on her face, and greet those who walked by. The villagers loved her dearly. Her words, simple yet profound, could calm the most troubled heart, and they often found solace in her presence. The village, though picturesque, was not without its struggles. The land, though fertile, could sometimes be unforgiving, and harsh seasons could leave the farmers wondering where their next meal would come from. Illness and misfortune were no strangers here, and many of the villagers often walked with heavy hearts. But no matter how hard life seemed, Amara's smile remained a constant. She had a way of seeing beauty even in the darkest of times. One fateful afternoon, a young woman named Leela came to Amara, her face clouded with worry. Her eyes were red from crying, and her voice shook as she spoke. "Amara, I don't know what to do. My husband has been gone for weeks, searching for work in the city. He promised he would send money, but nothing has come. My children are hungry, and I'm terrified. What if something has happened to him?" Amara looked at Leela with compassion, her eyes reflecting the sorrow in the young woman's heart. "Come, sit with me, child," she said softly, patting the ground beside her. "Tell me, what is it that weighs so heavily on you?" Leela sat down, her hands trembling. "I don't know how to be strong. Every day feels like a struggle. What if my husband never returns? What if we run out of food and hope?" Amara listened intently, then gently shook her head. "Leela, when we allow ourselves to be consumed by worry, our hearts grow heavy, and we forget the beauty and strength we already have within us. Let me tell you a story." She paused, gazing into the distance as if pulling the story from the depths of her soul. "Once, there was a man who had nothing. No food, no family, no home to call his own. He wandered the world, alone and desperate, until one day he found himself sitting by a river, crying bitterly. An old woman passing by saw his tears and stopped. "Why do you weep, my son?" she asked. The man, overcome with grief, said, "I have nothing. I have no reason to live." The woman looked around and said, "But you have the river that flows endlessly, the trees that offer shade, the sun that rises each day to give you light. These gifts, simple though they may seem, are more than enough to remind you that life is full of blessings, even when you feel you have none. If you focus only on what you lack, you will always be sorrowful. But if you open your heart to what you have, even the smallest of gifts, you will find peace." Leela listened, her eyes wide as Amara continued. The man, moved by her words, stopped crying and began to notice the beauty around him, the gentle flow of the river, the warmth of the sun, the rustling of the trees. Slowly, he began to feel lighter. His heart, once burdened with despair, found a spark of hope. He worked hard each day, and over time, his life began to transform. Amara turned to Leela with a gentle smile. "Do you see, my dear? The man's life did not change because of magic. It changed because he chose to change the way he saw the world. When we allow ourselves to see the good, to think with hope, we can find the strength to face whatever comes our way." Leela sat quietly, her mind swirling with the weight of Amara's words. "But how do I make this change? Can my thoughts really change anything?" Amara nodded. "Yes, child. Each morning, when you wake, tell yourself, 'Today will be a good day.' No matter the challenges that lie ahead, you will find the strength to face them with a heart full of hope. When we think positively, We invite positive energy into our lives. Leela wiped away the last of her tears and stood up, a new resolve in her eyes. I will try, Amara. I will wake up with hope in my heart. Amara smiled warmly. That is the first step, my dear. Days turned into weeks, and Leela, with newfound determination, began to practice what Amara had taught her. She rose every morning with the belief that today would be better than yesterday. She worked tirelessly to care for her children, her heart filled with the belief that good things were on the horizon. One day, a letter arrived from her husband. He had found work in the city and sent money for their family. Leela's eyes filled with joyful tears as she ran to share the news with Amara. Amara, with her gentle smile, said, "You see, Leela, when we shift our thoughts, we change our lives. The challenges never go away, but with hope, we can face them with strength and grace. Remember, when you focus on the good, good things will follow." The villagers, inspired by Amara's wisdom, began to follow her example. One by one, they too started to embrace the power of positive thinking. Slowly, the village transformed. People worked together, supported one another, and saw the light even in the darkest times. The old woman's wisdom spread like wildfire, and her teachings became the heart of the village. They learned that a hopeful heart is a strong heart, and no matter the hardships, with a positive mindset, they could overcome anything life threw their way. And so, the village thrived, not because of riches or luck, but because they had learned the power of hope, kindness, and the strength found in the simplest of thoughts. As Amara often said, choose to see the good, and the good will find you.